Hi, I'm Sterling. Come on in. The water's dark, but it's probably fine. Thanks for joining me. I've got something a little different for you today. Fun, unhinged, one of my favorites. It is titled, Everything's Bigger in Texas. The thing is, Texas got hit worse than anywhere else. It's not clear why. We don't have a lot of intact records from before the shutter. The guy who told me all the Texas tall tales in that scuzzy old Ward Wall pub swears it had something to do with some Aztec prophecy, lending the magic used there a little special oomph. Except I thought the Aztec stuff was supposed to happen back in 012, or was that the Mayans? Who knows? And anyway, he was drunk off his ass from Dino Gizzard's scotch. But hell, I wasn't exactly sober at the time, and I was pretty broke, too. For the best possible reason, mind you. A shiny new lever action. Polished quiver oak stock and solid salamander brass. Imbued by what everyone seemed to agree was the most talented Thaum tech for miles around. Nothing gets a hunter happy like a new weapon, let me tell you. Better even than a good kill. Kill's a one-time thing, but with a new weapon in your hand, you can imagine an endless number of them, you know? I even had a pretty good stock of ammo, all phase runes and silver in my bag. So I was in a good mood, and the top-shelf booze wasn't hurting. I listened to the guy's stories until they seeped into him hitting on me. I ignored that, pretty pointedly I thought, until he decided to lay hands on me and I gave him the evil eye. A useful thing as magical mutations go. Lots of people find the color difference attractive, one brown eye, one burning green, and so it doesn't necessarily hurt my prospects when I don't mind being hit on. And it makes more dangerous folks take a moment of pause before they decide to start anything. The ones in the know anyway, the walkers on the paths. Don't have to worry much about more ordinary folk. Anyway, as the guy staggered off with bubbling blood murmuring its way down his cheek, I thought about Texas and my lovely new gun and boredom and opportunity. I decided to sleep on it, then have a nice sober think in the morning. I dreamed that night. I always do. These days who doesn't? Especially vivid, though. Potent, like a hammer blow to the temple, knocking my mind sideways out of its usual nighttime stream. I saw a city built on a lake, watched over by an eagle perched on a flowering cactus. I saw buildings put together stone by stone, each block laid by lumbering giants whose movements were slow and oddly precise and also somehow repulsive. They were laid waste by strange beings from below the earth, and above a feathered reptile flew through their buildings with a keening howl of disapproval. When I woke, I knew I would go. It wasn't a terrible long journey from the kingdoms of the corn god down to the Republic of Texas, but it was a dangerous one. No roads, all taken out in the shutter, so I couldn't hitch a ride with a crawl wagon or even go by bike. Besides, I was broke, so I walked. Easier to stay quiet and unobtrusive that way. I'm a hunter, but I ain't out to hunt everything in this brave and rightly terrified new world. No one long living is. Along the way I ate jerky and drank from my boil skin until I got lucky and shot a shadow buck as he flickered into reality behind a big fallow sage. I said a long walking prayer for his soul and all the many days his meat and blood kept me going. Had to conjure water after that, which attracted the wrong kind of attention just as I'd feared. Vapor whites, but I dealt with them, cut them off from their elemental sustenance with my trusty pair of Bowie butterfly knives. I found a shortcut through a dreaming rend, and it took me close enough to see the border, a high, shimmering wall of residual ego and bound identity. It's not good to look directly on the metaphysical for too long, so I shaded my eyes and watched my feet move through the silver star-lit dust until I passed through. It was night on the other side, and I was exhausted. I slept the time slide off under an umbrella of a crystallized mana geyser, dreaming the whole while of world tendrils in 1,000 colors, binding the 7 and 70 realities. Licked the geyser for luck when I woke and moved on. I could feel the lingering aftershocks of the shudder still singing beneath my feet. Hit hard for sure, this place, and that border'd probably help keep some of it in, concentrated. Wasn't long before I found that the bullshitter back in the bar may have been lying about his worth as an evening's partner, but he hadn't been lying about Texas. Biggest spider I ever saw. Huge fat legs, delicious. Swollen abdomen promising all the ichor I could drain for a proper witching bath, but best of all, the cluster of spinnerets, at least 12 that I could count, ready for milking. Wasn't gonna be broke for long. I grinned and raised my rifle. Yippee-ki-yay. Hey, thanks for listening. That was Everything's Bigger in Texas from my short story anthology, Windows in the Dark. There's a link in the description if you'd like to read more, and if you'd like to hear more, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll keep you posted.